Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So, you've been thinking about trading stocks, but maybe you're not sure where to even start? Well, you are in exactly the right place. We've cracked open the classic guide, Trading for Dummies, and pulled out all the key lessons you need to hit the ground running. Consider this your roadmap. Okay, first things first. Before you even think about clicking that buy button, we've got to answer a really important question. What kind of journey are you actually on? Are you in it for the long haul, kind of like a slow and steady cross-country road trip? That's an investor. Or are you more of a sprinter looking for those quick bursts of profit? That's a trader. Let's figure out which one you are. All right, let's dive right in. Our first stop? Nailing down the huge difference between trading and investing. Seriously, getting this right is the absolute foundation for every single decision you're going to make from here on out. Let me break it down like this. An investor, think of them like a farmer who's planting an orchard. They're not expecting to get rich tomorrow. They're planting for the long term, planning to ride out all the seasons, the sunny days and the stormy ones, over years, even decades. Now, a trader, they're more like a vendor at a weekend market. They're not planting orchards. They're trying to profit from the price swings on any given day. They're in and out, working on much shorter timeframes. We're talking days, weeks, maybe a few months. Two totally different goals, two totally different mindsets. Okay, so you've decided the trader's path is for you. Awesome. Now it's time to gear up for the quest. And every good trader needs a toolkit, right? Well, the very first, most essential piece of gear you need is your gateway to the market itself. And that gateway is your broker. Look, you can't just stroll onto the floor of the New York Stock Exchange and start shouting out orders. It doesn't work that way. You need a licensed middleman. And that's what a broker is. It's the firm that actually places your buy and sell orders for you. Without one, you're just stuck on the sidelines. They are absolutely non-negotiable. And listen, choosing the right broker is a huge deal. So first, you got to be real with yourself. Are you going to be a hyperactive day trader glued to your screen, or more of a once-a-week kind of person? Your answer totally changes the type of broker you need. Then, do your homework. Check out those annual broker surveys in places like Barron's. They are an absolute goldmine for comparing who charges what. And this last part is non-negotiable. Check their rap sheet. You can go to FINRA's website and see if a firm has gotten into any trouble. I'm serious. Do not skip this step. All right, so you've got your gear, you've got your connection to the market. Now you need a map. How are you going to navigate this thing? In the world of trading, there are basically two main schools of thought, two maps that pretty much everyone uses to find opportunities. So these two philosophies are called fundamental analysis and technical analysis. Think of it like this. The fundamental analyst is kind of like a company detective. They're digging through financial reports, looking at the health of the industry, trying to figure out what a stock is truly worth. The technical analyst, on the other hand, is more like a market psychologist. They're not looking at balance sheets, they're looking at charts and price patterns to predict what the crowd is going to do next. So what's our company detective looking for? Well, they're asking some pretty specific questions. Is this company actually making money? How much cash is coming in the door? What do its debts look like? And they don't just stop there. They zoom out and look at the big picture. Is the whole economy growing, or are we in a slump? It's all about finding clues to a company's real underlying value. Now, for our market psychologist, the technical analyst, it all boils down to one simple, powerful concept, the trend. If you look at a stock chart and it looks like a staircase climbing up, that's a series of higher highs and higher lows. You're in an uptrend. If it looks like a staircase headed down to the basement, that's lower highs and lower lows. Well, that's a downtrend. The whole philosophy here is that you want to trade with the trend. It's just a lot easier to swim with the current than to fight against it, right? Okay. You've got your tools, you've got your maps. Now it's time for the really important part, strategy. But here's something most beginners get wrong. Your first strategy isn't about how to make $1 million. Nope. It's about one thing and one thing only, survival. It's all about playing defense. And this right here, this is your number one survival tool. It's called a stop-loss order. Think of it as your ejector seat, your pre-planned escape hatch. For example, let's say you buy a stock at $50. The very next thing you do is place an order with your broker to automatically sell it if it drops to, say, 45. That way, if the trade goes south, you're out. No hesitation, no second guessing. It takes all the emotion out of the decision and stops a little loss from becoming a truly massive one. So why are we so obsessed with this? Why is cutting your losses early so important? It all comes down to some pretty brutal math. If you lose 10% on a trade, you might think you just need a 10% gain to get your money back, right? Wrong. You actually need to make over 11% just to get back to even. And the deeper that hole gets, the harder it is to climb out. A 50% loss requires a 100% gain to recover. That's why you have to cut them small. If you take only one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. Anyone can get lucky picking a stock to buy. That's offense. But it's defense that keeps you in the game. Knowing exactly where you're going to sell before you even buy is the key. I'll say it again. Your selling strategy is way more important than your buying strategy. Okay, to wrap things up, let's learn from the mistakes of others, shall we? The book lists a whole bunch of trading sins, but we're going to focus on the big three. These are the classic traps that catch almost every single beginner. Learn these, and you'll save yourself a lot of pain down the road. Mistake number 1, fishing for bottoms. This is when you see a stock's price just plummeting, and you think, aha, I'm going to be a hero and buy it at the very, very bottom. The pros have a saying for this. It's like trying to catch a falling knife. You're probably just going to get hurt. It's nearly impossible to time perfectly, and you usually just end up buying something that, well, keeps on falling. Now this next one, this one can be a real account killer. It's called averaging down. That's when you buy a stock, it goes down, so you buy more to lower your average price. Oh, the psychology is so tempting, isn't it? It's on sale now, you tell yourself. But what you're actually doing is rewarding a bad decision. You're throwing good money after bad and doubling down on a loser. This is how small, manageable losses become absolute disasters. And the last big trap is a purely emotional one, falling in love with your stocks. You do all this research, you pick a company, and you start to get attached. You start rooting for it, you believe in it, even when the price is telling you you're dead wrong. This emotional blind spot stops you from doing the smart, logical thing, which is to cut your loss and move on. Just remember, that stock ticker doesn't know who you are, and it sure doesn't love you back. Don't fall in love. So there it is, the difference between an investor and a trader. The essential tools you'll need, the maps to guide you, and the survival rules that'll protect you. You have the foundational knowledge. You have the map. Are you ready for the journey?